GP.
Ray is still catching his breath from yesterday.
You know what I like? I like that everyone else loves the receiver class.
He has been damn near unstartable for 2 years, and you keep jamming him in your lineup.
Here's the kicker, Ray.
The offensive line was a wreck. They don't have a lot of weapons out there.
I'm clueless at how to get this data, but I just send him a message like, hey, can you pull like this for me and just send me a spreadsheet so I can look at it? Your eyes are not deceiving you. Welcome in. Happy post-NFL draft Monday afternoon. This is Destination Chill. It has been a long, long time since we have had this overlay, and we have Destination Chill back for the 2026, I guess you call it NFL season, but it's really still NFL off-season. But it's been a long time, Ray. Back on Destination Chill, long draft stream. I think you've done Wake Up like 4 times, plus the draft stream in the last 168 hours, plus juggling baseball tournaments and trying to update tiers and make draft picks and build tools. I'm sure you still got stuff working in the background where you're trying to innovate the business as well. But glad to be back, my friend. This is our annual show. This is, I think, our 4th year doing this. Every single skill player. We have to kind of drum things up a little bit for this class, but ready to get into it. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man, and I'll just tell you, I have missed streaming with you, my friend. I've absolutely missed streaming with you, so good to be here. We'll talk about the class. We're going to go through every offensive skill position player, but I'm glad everybody tapped in for us. We were going to do this Sunday night, but I was at the ballpark for 8 hours yesterday, Scott. We got a championship, so I'm happy about that. 9U title, big baseball guy over here, but NFL draft is over. I'm glad it's over. We talked about this on Wake Up today, and I said that once today ends, I'm done talking about the NFL draft itself. But I am interested and really excited to talk about what happens next. I made this comment on the draft stream, or maybe it was after the fact to us, the creators privately. So many people out there are going to tell folks how bad this class is and just fade every pick. My thing is, we know the class was weak, so what do you do now? Like, let's focus on the solutions. How do you navigate? What creative things can you do with certain players? Where's the ADV at in this class? So I'm excited to talk about it with you today, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is what it is. I've seen a lot of people kind of posting or tweeting, oh, man, this feels really, really bad. It feels like I'm in the early second, late first, and these picks suck. And I even put out a tweet saying that. But at the same time, we've kind of known that. We were hoping beyond hope, going into night 2 that there would be a couple surprises that really made us feel like, I feel a lot better about some of these picks. But, we'll talk about the class as a whole, but it really underwhelmed on top of it already being a poor class. We had 2 players go to the Jets in the first round. 2 of the top 10 skill players went to the Browns. The running backs, a couple of them got okay spots, but we're even looking at consensus RB 3 and 4 right now, Ray. They're in spots where I'm not sure week 1 they're even active. And we're saying Jonah Coleman and Nick Singleton are RB 2 on their team, and you're kind of looking like, all right, Joe. I heard today Jonah Coleman's the J.K. Dobbins replacement. Well, that's probably not a day 1 role, and so yeah, there's a lot to talk through. We still owe the people 3 Trinity shows. And I was thinking about that this morning. We're going to hit those. I think it's better to wait until all the dust settles after the draft and then put them in there, a week before the draft, because a couple of the teams we have to cover completely changed receiver rooms. But we'll get to those. But I'm ready to get into it. Where you want to start? Do you want some high level? You want some high level stuff, or where you want to start?
You want me to share which screen you want me to share, Scott? You want me to pull up your pretty chart right here, and I can format it a little better, or do you want to use the NFL and go through it like this, or do you want to just rock with it like this?
No, pull up our color chart. That's what we were going off of on draft day. And I made this, so this isn't like a site you can click on the link or anything like that. But it's really just tracking every skill player that was drafted in the draft and kind of what the general overall distribution of this class is compared to previous. And it's something that I talked about on the draft stream. Really the only redeeming thing about this class going into it was the receivers, right? We felt okay about the receiver class relative to prior classes. We didn't look at that as that's a weak spot in this year's draft. But then you look at the distribution. I mean, we did get 5 first-round receivers, but even the receivers, Ray, like in day 2, we got a lot more third-round receivers than I would have liked to see. You know what I mean? Like we got a couple guys in that sweet spot range in the first 10 to 15 picks. But on average, we actually had way less receivers drafted in round 2 than we typically get. So I don't know what that tells you from an NFL perspective, but we were led to believe, man, this is a good receiver class and it's a weak draft almost everywhere else. We might get 4, 5, 6 receivers that go in that top 50 or so. And we didn't. And then one of them is Deshaun Stribling, who not a soul had in the top 10 going into the draft. So what's your takeaway? Because every single position was lower than average in the first 2 days of the draft. The only position that was above was tight ends. And we'll talk a little more about that impact of the current NFL with tight ends. But what's your thoughts? The receiver class, in my opinion, didn't even deliver what I was expecting.
I mean, we got 5 first-rounders. That's
first rounders, yes. The first rounders. That's status quo, yes.
Here's the thing, man. I think that was it. Like, I mean, honestly, I think that was the class. I know we like to listen. Believe who you want to believe. Trust the people that you trust. Rock with who you want to rock with. I never thought Zachariah Branch was going to be a highly drafted receiver. Ted Hurst, get out of here. I think Xavier Thomas was a top 100 pick. Fields, Caleb Douglas, maybe Antonio. Like, it's, if you remove Deshaun Stribling, and then it just went from Omar Cooper to Boston to Bernard to Antonio Williams to Malachi Fields. I mean, the only one that people kind of assumed would be in that spot was Elijah Surratt that fell. And if you listen to me, I said the whole time, I don't even know who the best receiver was on that team. There's 3 guys, and it's a lot of RPO. Chris Brazzell, I never bought into Chris Brazzell being some first-round, second-round kind of guy. I think the class was just down, which I'd said for months on end, and this was the byproduct of it. I think the receiver class, the ones that we thought would be first-rounders were. And everybody else fell in line after that. It's a bad class. It's a bad class. And this has nothing to do with Devi. It has nothing to do with the 27 class or the 28 class is going to be generational. But I built the foundation of DD. And the moniker and the comment that I would always say is the more you know about upcoming draft classes, the better you can position your dynasty team for short and long-term success. This is a short-sighted class. Like, if you knew it's probably going to be a little weak, then you make your pivots way earlier. But we freaking knew that midway through the season in college, Scott. So I don't know why everybody's so shocked today. I'm looking like, this looks about Chris Bell, 3rd rounder. That's about right. Bryce Lance in the 4th round. Okay, all right. That's about right. Like, it seems about right.
Yeah, I think one of the things or 2 things that I've kind of taken away from this class is sometimes we conflate variance and we conflate maybe a lack of consensus as being a good thing because we see depth. I'm looking right now, the consensus big board. I know that's been a hot topic in the space over the weekend. Consensus big board prior to the draft results. Okay. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 receivers between the start of round 2 and pick 75. So if I'm looking at that and you and I are doing a mock draft, pre-NFL draft, I look at that and go, man, that's a loaded area for a receiver, right? There's tons of guys. There's 10 options. And even if a couple of them fall out, I look at that and go, man, the NFL kind of thinks this is a good receiver class, and they're going to draft a ton of those guys with round 2 capital. But then you look back and you go, it didn't really happen. Only 3 guys went in round 2. And then only 3 more guys went in that top 75. So they missed the mark by 10 or 4 or 5 slots. But then it also is like, okay, was it that it was really good depth, or was it no one knew what the hell they were talking about?
Let me stop you. Who makes up where's this come from? Who is the consensus board? I'm just asking you. Like, is it like the Field Yateses?
No. It's using sites like Grinding the Mocks or Mock Draft Database that are just taking everybody's data and putting it in there. But when you use that, which there's a value to having a massive amount of sample size.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is that when you take that and let's just take the top 100 mock drafters, right? And they're all putting in a certain level of work and analysis, and they're trying to do generally the same thing. They're not picking for individual teams, right? They're just ranking players. But then when you take that and you take ranges where really it looks like there's a lot of depth, but really it's being masked by the fact that a lot of people in that range just don't even know what to do. So they just throw different receivers in that range because they're looking back at old data going, well, historic averages says we got to put 15 receivers in the first 3 rounds. So what do? They just kind of throw receivers in there that they like, that they think might be a good fit. And then when it's presented as a consensus, then it looks like there's just a flush amount of options. Then we see the results and we're disappointed. So that's something that I've learned is when you're taking massive sample size and you're building consensus like this, it does kind of mask maybe true analysis of the class. You see what I'm saying? Like we think it's depth, but it's really just one person might have Ted Hurst at 50. Another guy has him at 90. And if you have that amongst 100 people, the consensus is going to be what? 70, 75? And it's going to look like, well, he should go early round 3. And then when he doesn't, you're going, it's a bad class. So just something to think about. I know it's a topic we could do an entire podcast on, but it's gotten me thinking.
Here's the problem with that, man. Like, and maybe this is a topic for another day. I'm not going to say who's right or wrong, but I know there are a lot of people who start doing mock drafts in February that haven't looked at a lick of any of these college guys ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give a flying fuck what the consensus big board said. Zachariah Branch and Malachi Fields and Chris Brazzell and these guys, they just weren't it. Like, I don't know how many times bad or marginal college players turn into great NFL players. And if you're not even good, then you're not viable for fantasy. Like, I'm looking at the names of receivers here. Skylar Bell, that's who you thought should have been wide receiver 5 in the class. What UConn game did you watch to come to that conclusion? I really think that just there's and I said it at the start of the season, because this was a class where there weren't any surefire Marvin Harrisons, Bijan Robinsons, that it would just be a lot of groupthink. You will be able to tell the people who did the work and who didn't when it comes to what ranges these players are going to get drafted in. When we first started, Zachariah Branch, first round talent. You ought to take him in round 1. Elijah Surratt, wide receiver 2 in the class. I'm like, where did y'all come from? And what did you watch from August to December to come to that conclusion? It's just a lot of groupthink in the space. And I think the more people that have access to a microphone and a camera, a lot more bad information is going to get floated out there. Just wait. And you're going to get the opposite effect next year, where everybody's going to be an all-pro. Everybody. All top 15 rookie picks, they'll all be all-pros. Be mindful of the content you consume, man.
And one thing I wanted to lead in, I mean, you make good points that there is a lot of groupthink.
Misfit said it before even knowing. I remember Ray saying, don't believe it. Scribbles, this class has been weak. So I don't care what I don't care what they say. I'm not saying I'm the best. You should, but there's a lot of people you shouldn't be listening to when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Well, then we get into another point that I want to talk about real quick before we get into the players, which we'll get to the players here in a minute. I think it was Addison Hayes. I saw a tweet. Shout out to Addison. Been in the space for a long time. Good dude. He put out a tweet that said one of the biggest edges, I believe, this year is going to be identifying receivers that are for sure going to have solidified roles in offenses where even if the teams are running a lot of heavy 2 tight end or even 3 tight end personnel, is identifying an even slimmer margin than a couple of years ago in terms of who those solidified roles at receivers are going to be. I mean, we have Trinity. We have a way to kind of do that. But even before we get into the draft, like kind of identifying who fits into those roles, how they're going to be deployed, I think it's even more important with the shift from, I mean, look at the draft results. What was the one position that far exceeded the number of players that are typically drafted? Tight end, right?
Tight end.
Average is 15 over the last 5 years. We had 23 tight ends drafted. So the NFL said, instead of taking that extra running back or instead of taking that extra receiver, I'm taking the tight end. And there were a lot of receivers drafted like in the day 3 range and beyond, but still teams made it a point. I mean, I think 21 teams this year took a tight end. That tells me that even if it's the tight end 4 on the NFL team, that the team is backfilling at that position more so than they are at receiver or running back or safety. You know what I mean? Like, we need to go into camp with like 4 guys instead of 3 or 5 guys instead of 4. So how do we adjust in fantasy? It's just going to be more important in identifying the receivers that have early roles. And then we have a bunch of receivers to figure out here that went round 3 and round 4. Like, are any of those guys going to be full-time players? You know what I mean? And if so,
Probably
like,
not.
are they relevant? And that's
Probably
kind of gets
not.
into the conversation of, do you even want to waste a pick on him, or
Not
what else
really.
can you do? So we're here
Not
to find
really.
solutions. So I'm good. Let's go.
Let's find him. Go. Let's go.
Want to go through just draft order? Put up the draft result screen. Just go through and pick order, starting at the top.
Let's do it.
All right. So we're just going to go through each player. Some are going to elicit more conversation than others. I don't think a lot needs to be said about Fernando Mendoza, Ray.
I
That's been
skipped
the one locked in pick. The only debate is like, what is his quote unquote ceiling? And I don't even really want to get into that here because we talked about it on the draft stream, talked about it for like 5 minutes on this past community mock. Just thinking about what is fantasy upside. You know, you'll hear people say, oh, he has no upside. And then they'll cite that maybe Trevor Lawrence next year can run for 600 yards. You know, he's athletic. And it's like, yeah, he's probably not going to do that. So the margins between whether Fernando Mendoza has true upside, like true Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson upside, it's very wide. But for him just to be able to put up a top 6 season, top 8 season, top 10 season, all it comes down to, right, is he a bust or is he not? Do the Raiders screw up his development or do they not? And if they don't, for me, he's still my 102. I'm not wasting an opportunity to get one of these guys spoon-fed in my lap just because I really need to take Jordan Tyson instead or Carnell Tate instead. So that's the only thing I have to say on Mendoza. The debate over, you know, what his fantasy ceiling is, and if it's not elite, then I don't want him, I think is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I got him projected at 3,100 yards, right at 32, 3,192 for Mendoza. And I haven't projected to start all season. Like, that's just my projection. I'm not 7 games. If he starts all year, based on a whole bunch of stuff, coaching scheme, offensive situation, talent around him, I got him right around 3,100 yards, which would be, I think that would be great. I mean, I listened to you in the Discord. Shout out to the long-ass show you put on the Discord yesterday because I was watching and then I went to go watch the game and then I saw you were still on a long time after that and I heard you talking about Mendoza. I'm not going to argue you, Mendoza at the 102. My only pushback is I just don't think that the quarterback market is as difficult to navigate as it once was before. I think people are more willing to move around to get off of some stuff. And if one of those receivers did pop early, or at least people thought they would, I don't think that would prohibit you from moving them into a quarterback. So my honest opinion is after Jeremiyah Love, I can see 3 guys at the 102. And if you have one of Mendoza, Tate, or Jordan Tyson there, you're not gonna hear much argument from me on that one.
Yep, I agree. I mean, that's the comment. I saw Will Sanders say that consensus is Mendoza's behind Tyson and Tate. And that's exactly what you talked about. It's the quarterback market being different than it's been in years past. Typically, a ironclad 101 quarterback like this that is far and away better than every QB in the draft class goes right after the elite players like Love.
Yep.
But here, the quarterback market, it's very flat. I think to your point, people are willing to build more gross quarterback rooms today. You know what I mean? If you got a Geno or a Brissett or someone like that as your QB2, Before, you'd be panicking. Oh, man, I'm not going to have a starter. But now, if I get a month of starts, I'll figure it out in week 6 if I don't have a starter anymore, rather than reaching on a pick that I can maybe do
Yeah,
something
blame
better
yourself for that. Your own tactics coming back to haunt you because people feel like it now. Like they're like, okay, I could play QB a little gross now if I need to. So I get it.
Yep. All right, Jeremiyah Love. Same with Mendoza. We don't got to spend a ton of time, but he is the best player in the draft. I think the only debate, Ray, is where does he stack with the rest of the dynasty running backs? And if you say, he's now below Genty, or, I would tear off of him for Hampton and another starter, like, I'm not going to argue with you.
Me either.
But his profile isn't diminished because he landed on the Arizona Cardinals.
No.
I think it's very similar to Bijan's landing spot when he went to Atlanta. Remember that Atlanta team and how uninspiring that offense was, and Bijan still had 300 opportunities. So
see, this is where the football side of me doesn't get any sort of, from a fantasy perspective. How could you hate this? You've got a tight end that's going to command double coverage every single time. You've got two twin towers on the outside. Despite what you think about Marv or Michael Wilson, those guys are going to generate coverage. You've got 3 levels. Like there's no crowd in the box. You load 8 in the box, you get absolutely destroyed on the outside. The offensive line is not awful. It's not great, but I don't know how anybody doesn't look at this and be like, man, what a dope spot for a running back to land in, to not have all the attention on you, a la an Ashton Genty, where there was zero respect to the pass catchers on the outside, and it was stop Genty at all costs. Can't do that with Love. You jam the box, and you will get absolutely eviscerated by Wilson, McBride, and Harrison. Like, you just can't do it. This is a sweet spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, and the comp was always like Jahmyr Gibbs was the comp you were hoping for out of Love. You know what I mean? And then it feels like if you said, I'm going to get what Jahmyr Gibbs has given me in his first 3 years, you'd be like, that's awesome. But there's still conversations that are about, man, now Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a better role than he had when Montgomery was there. But this thought of the role needs to be better. I think we're just shooting for outcomes that, this is not 2005 where the plan is 400 touches for the running back and hopefully he lasts for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, they drafted this guy in the top 3. Remember the conversation about Bijan in his rookie year? They're not about to just load him up with every opportunity. Yeah. And look where he is today. So, yeah, it's splitting hairs, whether you have him RB3, RB4, what his trade value is. We can move on. Tate and Tyson. Talk about Tate. Feels like he's emerged as the wide receiver 1. I think it's probably 70-30 from what I've seen. He's always been your wide receiver 1. I mean, break down the situation.
Me and Jay Rich talked about this this morning on Wake Up. Talked about this morning. I think it's a phenomenal spot, though. I think people are really underestimating the opportunity that's probably going to be present in this offense. They spent the number 1 overall pick last year on Cam Ward. There are a litany of low light reel packages of how good Cam Ward was throwing the ball and what did you see at the other end of it? The receivers not making the plays. We saw Brian Daboll have a rookie wide receiver that was drafted after Tate with no quarterback in the room get 170 targets in year 1. 170 targets in year 1. This is a division where they're going to have to score points. He was picked before anybody thought he might be, but this was kind of a common pick early in the process. I've got him projected right around 100 targets, 790 yards, and 5 touchdowns in year 1. Playing next to Wan'Dale, I think this is from a football standpoint, I don't know how you could want anything other for Cam Ward. And if he's going to be treated like the wide receiver 1 or even 2 in this offense with a quarterback that they want to throw the ball, I think this is he was the wide receiver 1 talent-wise. Collegiate Trinity score-wise, he was the wide receiver 1. He got drafted as the wide receiver 1, but we want to play this game again about fading him because he's in Tennessee. He's not in Tennessee with Mason Rudolph. He's not in Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders. He's not in a spot with the quarterback. Like, he's in a spot where they're going to throw the ball with Cam Ward, and he pushes the ball all over the field. I don't know how people are overthinking this to the 10th power. I don't know how there's any other wide receiver over Carnell Tate, football-wise.
Now you make a persuasive argument with the neighbors comp with Dayball and Wandale being the polar opposite type of receiver that does a very specific thing, and is a good player in his own right. So
And listen, Wandale was great last year, Scott. 100,000 yards,
he's
great.
Good.
But he's never been that until every year he's about 600-yard receiver, 600, 700 yards. That's Wandale.
Yeah, his job is to take targets in a certain area of the field, and it's not at all competing with Carnell Tate's opportunity. Yeah, his opportunity is going to exponentially be good if Cam Ward is as good as you want him to be. Do you know what I mean? Like you need things to go right, but I get the argument of the design of the offense with Dayball, with Wandale as the number 2. Like it just feels like you just need Cam Ward to be good. You need the offensive line to be decent, and they're going to be in game scripts where they do have to throw. So I agree with that. Jordan Tyson.
Dope spot.
Yeah.
Dope spot. I think people... Why is Tyler Shuck not just as much of a question mark as Cam Ward? He played well at the end of the season, right, in New Orleans, but he also had a coach in Kellen Moore where Tennessee had a lame duck situation. I think people are giving Tyler Shuck the grace and the credit, and they're not giving that to Cam Ward. He had Kellen Moore last year. He had Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson. Cam Ward's staff is brand new. He had a lame duck interim head coach, no weapons, nothing. But we ding him for the improvements and the upgrades that have happened over the offseason, but yet we elevate and praise Tyler Shuck like he's already arrived. Tyson's a dope player. He's the number 2. Unquestioned number 2 to Chris. Unquestioned number 2 to Chris Olave. Number 2. And an offense that we still need to see, second-year quarterback Tyler Shuck. Excellent player, excellent talent, good fit. Clear cut behind Carnell Tate for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a place that desperately needed another receiver option. And then you add into that, we talked about it all year with Trinity. Man, they don't have the guys yet, right? But they have the shape of an offense that you're really excited about. The way they played last year, that was one of those offenses where you wanted to see them do exactly what they did. So I'm with it. I don't think he's competing with Olave. It's not, who's better, him or Olave. I think you're going to give Olave the nod early on, but that's okay. Like, I think some people are kind of looking at it like he has to be better than Olave. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a disappointing pick. But if you told me he's just a really, really good number 2 that holds his own for the next couple of years, like, is that really that bad of a pick? You know what I mean?
No.
If he ends up somewhere wide receiver 10 to 25, are you really, really that upset with the result? And it feels like, oh man, if I'm taking him at the 103, I need him to be able to be elite. You know what I mean? And I just don't overthink it. It's very hard to go from the range he's in right now to just a tier above that.
Right.
We expect every top 10 receiver to just get into, they're at Drake London is the floor. If you're not better than that, it's a little disappointing. So, yeah, I'm fine with it. Our clear wide receiver 1 or 2, a tier above every other player. Then there's a tier break.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's a tier break. I think for me, if you just go in order of draft order, it's Ty Simpson next. Pick 13 to the Rams. I mean, I've seen some polarizing takes on Ty Simpson, right? And fall into the second, late first, early second. Just no respect for the fact that he's a first-round quarterback in the situation that every single person said was the best situation for a rookie quarterback to go to, and he gets top 15 capital, and somehow we're worried? Or I just don't want to take him. I don't want to wait.
Talk about
I think it speaks to the quarterback market you talked about earlier, right? Not only do I think I'm getting like a mid QB, but I'm getting one that's not going to play right away. So I've seen a lot of people passing him up I even saw a Jonah Coleman and Nick Singleton above him.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I think it's not even who you're taking above him. It's just he's off my board because I don't want to draft an asset that I don't know what to do with right now. You know what I mean? I'm not confident I'm going to be able to flip it later, so I don't want to. That's it. I have him at 106. So
I
I
got
think
him
you
at
just invest in the first round quarterback, wherever it might be.
I got him at I got him at 112. I have him at 112. I just
Okay, talk about it. You're clearly lower than me.
You're behind Matthew Stafford, man. And I'm just not playing this game. Oh yeah, I know sitting on my ass in Dallas, Texas that he's going to retire at the end of the season. Like I'm not. So he retires when he retires. This man's 38, back is fresh, coming off an MVP season, 4,600 passing yards, 40 touchdowns. His coach is in place. What am I really hoping for? Like I'm just gonna park this guy on the bench, and then whenever he materializes, I'm hoping he's good. I just want to know my answer. I just give me all the other players. If I get burned by a Ty Simpson a year or two from now, then so be it. I don't have a ton of interest in him at that spot. There are, in my case, 5 other players that I would take ahead of him.
Yeah, you got Lemon, Price, Sadiq, Stowers, Concepcion, and Omar Cooper. So you pretty much even though he went in the first, you're not taking him over any of the other first round skill players, basically.
No. But I didn't put no Denzel Boston over him. I didn't put any Nicholas Singleton over him. I would still, if I was at the 112 and I was stuck with Ty Simpson, I would gladly take him ahead of that next tier. But my expectation for my use with him is much different than probably a lot of people. I'm not banking on him working with Sean McVay 2 years from now to lead my fantasy team to glory.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just say this, whether you have him at 106, whether you have him at 112, 110, just have a plan if you're going to pick him. Think through, what does this look like when I click draft? Because I think the first round quarterback pedigree with this landing spot makes it a viable pick, especially in a draft like this.
Of course, it absolutely does.
But have a plan. Don't draft him and then go, if he's not playing by week 6, I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to sell him for a second because I'm sick of seeing him on my roster. Like, think it through. Think through your league. How do they value quarterbacks? How active is it? Like, just think through all those things. It has nothing to do with whether Ray's right or I'm right about Ty Simpson, because I think we could both be right and we could both be wrong. But just make the decision and have a plan and start building around, okay, I know what I'm doing when I click draft on Simpson. And if you don't like that, if it doesn't feel good, then don't pick him. Like, take him off your board. You know what I mean? But I don't think there's really a mystery as to what the analysis is on Simpson.
Can I ask you how, when you hear the head coaches talk about, we drafted Deshaun Stribling because he's a great blocker. When you listen to Sean McVay react and talk about, like, how does that not make you, does it elicit any type of emotion at all? Is it just one ear out the other? Not that big of a deal. I mean, it's just looking at it, it did not seem like that was McVay's choice. It did not. And every time we've seen that, I've rarely seen the coach and the player like hugging and kissing a year or two later. Didn't look like Vrabel wanted that Treylon Burks. It never really fired for him. Injuries, whatever you want to call it. It just, McVay didn't seem thrilled. Shanahan's looking like, yeah, this guy's a great blocker. That's why we got him. How does that?
I mean, that's the narrative, right? McVay's tied to Stafford, and when Stafford's gone, he's gone, and Ty Simpson is going to be the
which I also think is equally is. I don't want to say that either. The same way I'm not going to say that Stafford's going to retire. I'm not going to say I know McVay is tied to Stafford, but
we don't.
It just feels like Rodgers and Love. It feels like Rodgers and Love all over again.
This feels like a narrative people have created to tell themselves on why Ty Simpson was a bad pick. And that's okay. Just the same argument that he's a great pick because Sean McVay's his coach and the Rams have a great offense. You can go the opposite way and go, it's not going to matter because McVay's going to quit when Stafford retires, and that's not going to be till 2027, and then Ty Simpson's a lame duck. Both can be true.
Yeah.
All right. We got Kenyon Sadiq is the next skill player off the board. Pick 16 to the Jets. I'm warming up on Sadiq. I actually moved him ahead of Stowers, even though on draft day I was kind of going the other way. I just think that And maybe it's just because I've looked more at the Jets and more at the Browns situation because they literally have 2 of the top 11 players in this draft. I think he's getting dinged a little too much for the situation he landed in. And then also just because he's not Tyler Warren. He's not Colston Loveland. He's not those guys from last year. So it's almost like, I'm over-hating a little bit on Sadiq. So I'm not saying he's clearly ahead of Stowers, but the Jets did prioritize him over everything else in the draft after their top 5 pick, and they were never taking a skill player in the top 5. So it kind of feels like you got him, have him by default at tight end 1. If you buy into the trend in the NFL about there just being more relevant tight ends, I'm not scared about any other tight ends that they have. I'm not scared about, there's another tight end they drafted in the 2nd round last year there. Like, I'm not really worried about it, Ray. So I think I've moved him up a little bit. Most of us play in, heavier tight end premium leagues. I could probably be fine taking Makai Lemon over him, but like after that, there's nothing really else to take. I'm fine taking him over Ty Simpson too. Same argument we just made. So that's my thoughts on Sadiq.
Sadiq, easy
tight
end
situation
1 for me.
Can't get work. Yeah,
it's easy tight end 1. I think Geno, as bad as he's been, he's a massive upgrade over anybody that they've probably had in quite some time in New York. And this just feels like a play for when we draft our quarterback next year, there are weapons in place. And we sat here for 2 years. Do people hear themselves, man? Like,
do you listen to yourself?
Like, I do. And
do you listen to your content back?
Hell no, I don't. No, absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, we've gone 2 years with people absolutely shitting on the Eagles situation. This passing offense blows with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, and Dallas Goedert. This thing sucks. Tell me in season, like, how many people were really clamoring for Smitty over the past couple of years? He's just a 2, right? He's good whenever A.J. Brown's out. And now you're talking yourself in, like, Stowers. He's the tight end 2 there. Oh, whenever Goddard leaves. A year in Dynasty fantasy football is like 5 years. It's not like a 1 year thing. It's like a 5-year window inside of a year. Like, there's no world in which I'm taking Eli Stowers over 1st round Kenyon Sadiq. And I'm not even some Sadiq is. I haven't said one thing about what his outcome is. I got him projected for right around like 500 yards this year. But I'm not taking Eli Stowers over him for an offense in which they probably want the quarterback to throw the ball 25 times a game, if that. No. When it happens, I'll buy him then. And he ain't going to be at some price to where he's unobtainable. It won't happen. Done this long enough to know. No, I'm not taking Stowers over Sadiq. Stop.
So I'm looking at the Jets last year. So they only played 12 personnel 20% of the time. But it was actually their most successful in terms of EPA per dropback. It was their most successful personnel grouping. So they added a tight end, right? Like they're probably planning on playing Mason Taylor and Kenyon Sadiq at the same time. And so we'll talk about what that means for their next player that they drafted here coming up. But yeah, I'm higher on Sadiq now. I've already taken him twice. If you'd have told me on Saturday that there would have been 2 decisions where I'm taking him in certain spots and not trying to move out or trying to move up, like, I'm okay. Especially, I think the community, partially it's because it's last year, Ray, but there's just something about the current Dynasty community and people listening to the way the NFL is going. Can't you just see a world where the ADV holds for Sadiq too? He just needs maybe half a dozen big plays where he just looks like the best athlete on the field, which he tested like that, right?
Yeah.
It feels like the lasting power. You already see it in the comments. He's a slow play. He's a red shirt. I'll give him a year. No one's going to give Denzel Boston or KC Concepcion.
No, they won't.
They better be the starters on the Browns from day one. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like there's more pressure on some of those other guys. So that's enough about Sadiq.
I just want to throw it up on the screen for everybody to see. I got him projected right at 51 for 485 and 4, 7.3. Okay. So that's not a lot, but he's the tight end 1 there. Garrett Wilson's the guy. We'll talk about Omar Cooper Jr. in a little bit, but I got him right at 500 yards for Kenyon Sadiq in year 1, which I think would be successful. Using my data, I've got him around 12 15% 12 personnel, but it's close enough, right? Close enough.
Okay.
So yeah, Kenyon Sadiq right there, 7 points per game in year one. And all of these will be live by the end of the week on Patreon and inside of our community, DD Fantasy, DD, the All Gas community, patreon.com/allgas.
Yeah, get in there. Join the Patreon because you're going to want to see these. And I know when Ray goes over these projections, it's a good reset. They're humbling for us in fantasy that we throw out off. If he's not at 15 points per game, Ray, I don't want him. Then you look at that's every player that's not the top 13 players in the league. It's like I'm a little conjecture there. There's obviously more than 13. But the point is, our expectations, people will throw out things like 600 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving like it's just commonplace.
And it's not.
And then I'll go, Ray, what's the projection on Luther Burden? You'll be like 800 yards. And people will be like, oh my gosh, that's just hard to
People
take
are saying this is good enough for him, Scott. People are saying if a tight end gets me 500 yards in a premium,
I think it is.
That's enough for me. You telling me he's going to get 500 yards and 50 catches? I'm good. I'll take that player.
50 for 500 and 5 TDs
in a premium.
In a
that's
175.
That's
a flex range receiver, but it's at a position that impacts the player landscape a lot more when I have that guy in my flex. When I have that guy on my bench, that means a lot more than me having an 800-yard receiver that's in his 4th year. So that's why you draft Sadiq probably a little higher in those formats. Makai Lemon, next player off the board. Philadelphia, pick 20. A.J. Brown, we assume, are gone. I know. Are your Eagles projections removing A.J. Brown?
Mm-hmm.
They have to, right? He's going to he's not going to be on the roster, whether he goes to New England or somewhere else. You got to remove him. Let's see. Where do you have him? You got Makai Lemon 105.
Really?
Brandon's got him 105. I have him at consensus. He's at 105. So I think generally he's in that tier.
I got him ahead of Price.
You do. You have him ahead of Jadarian Price.
That's right. Hell yeah, I do.
I mean,
this is a slow burn for me. Slow burn, fair. Good player. I think I've got him projected for around 500 something yards. It ain't a lot. It's a low volume offense. Smitty, Goddard's still there. Saquon's still there. But I like the spot. I don't hate it. God, I am going to regret saying this. I'm going to regret saying this. You know what it feels like a little bit to me? His first year or two might feel like?
So
not year 3.
You could elicit.
I'm not saying his year 3 is going to be this.
I know the name.
It feels very JSN-esque, where probably not going to do a ton in year 1. He's a slot guy. You hope you'll see that step up in year 2. I like it. I think he's in a good offense. There's going to be opportunity available. I think that the ancillary gnats around will get Wicks is going to get targeted as much as you don't like him. Hollywood's, when he's on the field, he's going to get work. Lemon's going to get his, but this is going to be the one where after year 1, when he has 522 yards, people are like, I'm done. This offense sucks. He's no good, and I will still be in. I like Lemon. Now, last time they took a receiver at 20, I don't think it worked out well. I think that might have been your boy out of TCU. But he's a better player than that.
Oh, yeah, my boy. My history on social media touting that Jalen Reagor.
But no, I like Lemon. I like Lemon. Just my expectations for him in year 1 are low, and that's okay.
Yeah, the Eagles played 63% 11 personnel last year, and we know that they had the most concentrated offense. So that's the fascinating thing to me, is for the last couple of years, they've had by far the most concentrated offense to 3 fantasy targets. And truthfully, that's probably masked the viability of those 3 targets, right? Dallas Goedert's a good tight end, but you put him on other offenses that have more gnats, that have more funneling to their third receiver or their second tight end, you probably end up getting a lesser version of Dallas Goedert, the player that averages, 750, 800 yards a year. So I'm really interested to see how they deploy that target concentration now. They had 81% of their Trinity last year was to 3 guys. That's way more than every other team. You don't remove A.J. Brown and just put Makai Lemon into that A.J. Brown usage role. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be Stowers and Hollywood Brown and Dontavian Wicks and Makai Lemon kind of making up that piece. So you can't even probably count on the concentration, but it'll be interesting to see how he's deployed early on because he does have some competition. He has two legitimate, decent receivers with Wicks and Hollywood Brown that are not just going to go away because Makai Lemon is so good. So I agree.
Rager was 21 too. He was 21st, not 20th. So
you're safe.
We're safe. We're safe. Okay.
All right. Next up, we had KC Concepcion to the Browns. We were super high on this pick on Thursday. And then Friday, they took Denzel Boston. I'm actually coming around on keeping Concepcion, though.
Okay.
Let's talk about him and Boston at the same time because they literally went to the same team, and Boston's up in like 3 picks after this. But they're so different. Doesn't it feel like if they were going to draft another receiver at some point in the draft? But does it really feel like Boston, the way he's used, is he even a threat for what a KC Concepcion success would look like?
No.
It feels like to me they're totally different.
No.
So I don't look at them as like they're competing with each other. That if they're both good, it actually is better for Concepcion, I think, because it's another guy that's actually going to help him probably do what he does better. That's how I'm viewing it.
I think KC Concepcion is the Jerry Jeudy replacement, and Denzel Boston is the long-term replacement for Cedric Tillman in the role that he occupies. The big winner in this, to me, is Harold Fannin Jr. Is the wide receiver one of the Cleveland Browns in 2026. It's Harold Fannin. Todd Monken is there every step of the way. Every stop he's been at, the tight end has been a major priority, and you've got this young second-year tight end that already shown an ability to be a target monster in year one with dysfunction everywhere, and now you get the tight end whisperer himself in the room. Oh, this is freeing up Harold Fannin Jr. Like if I could take anyone in Concepcion and Boston and somehow turn that into the other Browns pass catcher, I would do it. But I too agree with you. Where do I have Concepcion at? I think I moved him up today actually and moved Boston back a little bit. So I still like the fit. And
you have 109. You have Concepcion at 109. You have Eli Stowers ahead of him.
Well, it's
want to change that in real time?
Yeah, I need to
keep
change
it as it is.
Yeah, change it. Puts Concepcion over Stowers.
Okay, cool.
So somebody said I knocked Fannin down a ton. That's definitely zag against the zig. Listen.
That's your take from your boys at Yahoo, Tice and Harmon. They said biggest loser, one of the biggest losers offensively in all of the NFL after this weekend was Harold Fannin Jr.
And I'll tell Matt on stream with him, I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
I thought it was interesting because I didn't think of it that way.
Didn't Matt also have KC Concepcion as his wide receiver 2 in the class? He had KC Concepcion as wide receiver 2. I'm just optional completeness, right?
Yeah.
So if your second ranked receiver in the class goes to a team, you're probably going to say, I think this guy, but he wasn't my second ranked wide receiver. The data didn't say that. I think he's a good player. He got drafted 24th overall, and you've got an offensive coordinator that absolutely hammers the ball to tight ends, and you've got a tight end that went out there and balled the hell out in year one. I don't think Fannin is the biggest loser at all.
And I've said it, I'm high on the offense. I get it. Oh, they don't have a quarterback. Who's throwing them the ball? Watson or Shador? They suck. It's the framework of the offense. Think of this kind of like the Saints last year. We don't know if the quarterback's good. In fact, I'm probably betting it's not going to be great. But what I'm looking for is the shell of what you're wanting being installed, and I think it will be. Like, we have enough sample size of Todd Monken to go back and look at his offenses, and when he's had good quarterbacks, the offenses have been great. When he hasn't, it's struggled. But at the same time, like, I'm just hoping the offense takes shape to where you go into next year going, they just fix the quarterback. And it's fair to question whether the Browns can do that, right? Yeah. They haven't done it in 25 years. So I'm not saying, wait till next year they're going to draft an ace starter in the first round and they're going to be good. But the shell of the offense, I'm pretty high. It's the reason I was high on Jerry Jeudy before the draft because he was going to be in an offense that had a good shell. So we'll see what it looks like. Let's hit Denzel Boston real quick.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with him, Ray. This feels like this is going to be more of a, he's at best like a third option in an offense, and he's fine if the offense gets to a range where, it's a top 10 offense in the league. But it kind of feels like I really would rather do something different with the Denzel Boston pick if you're talking about picking him at 110, 111, 112, 201. I'm not saying go draft Jonah Coleman over him or draft Carson Beck over him, but this feels like the pick. Before I click yes on Denzel Boston, can I send that pick out for something I might be able to start? Even if it's gross, like a Ramondre Stevenson type running back, Rico Dowdle, something like that, Chuba Hubbard. Like, this is the pick and maybe that's just me, but I'm not going to probably draft a lot of Denzel Boston.
Okay. Where do you have him ranked versus our group?
I have him 112. He's consensus 112. So I think everyone kind of has him in that 111.
Where do I have him at?
Because
I don't have him 112. Where do I have him? 111?
112.
I've got him 112?
You got Ty Simpson. You actually had Ty Simpson 111 and Boston 112.
Okay.
So everyone's got him in the same range. And to be frank, the options after him are day 3 running backs and Carson Beck or Chris Bell or Antonio Williams. You know what I mean? Like, if you like those guys, fine. But this feels like the range. If I could do something else with him, he seems to be the consensus, like going before all those other guys.
I think we're giving Casey Concepcion a lot of credit. And
Fair.
we're not. Jerry Jeudy might not be great, but he had 1,200 yard season, and he was on pace for another 1,000-yard season. And he not wrecked his ankle that year in Denver. I think we're giving Casey a lot of he's that much better than everybody there. When I think we need to see, like, head to head, how much better is Concepcion than Denzel Boston?
I mean, what's those Browns projections look like? I'm guessing they're not. Okay, well, when you do, I'm guessing they're not going to be very fun for the rookies. Just because I'm guessing that denominator is passing offense wise.
The quarterback. I think I'm almost positive Shador was dead last when I ran the quarterback sims for yards.
Okay.
It was right at about like 3,100 for him. I think he was low. He was lower than Mendoza. So,
and if Jerry Jeudy's on the team.
He's getting enough to get to 1,000.
He's not phased out. You take his just career production, and you're probably penciling him in for at least 20% of that offense. There's not a lot left for the rookie receivers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, we'll speed through these. We can probably speed through some of the guys in the second and third round. But Jadarian Price, a little shocking that he went in the first round, but you start to put him in a cohort, Ray, of there's been running backs that didn't produce in college that became really good in the NFL. Maybe not like generational, but I hear this, he was never the bell cow in college, and so I just can't trust the evaluation that he went in the first round. Okay. But then he went in the first round. He also went in the first round to a team that had no real running backs on their depth chart, right? Mm-hmm. And the same team that we're now pumping up the incumbent running back who left there as he is the next big thing in Dynasty, Kenneth Walker. You know what I mean? And I know maybe we didn't love Kenneth Walker's role, but like I think people are overthinking this pick.
Tackling.
You said overthinking the pick?
Overthinking drafting KC Concepcion or, I mean, even Sadiq or Stowers or Lemon. He's a first-round running back. It's a scarce position, right? There's no other options really besides him that does what he does. And I'm not even saying he's good, but I don't know. For me, he's a clear 105. And then when you start talking point per carry, half PPR, non-tight end premium, like it's a no-brainer. What about you? I know you got him right behind Lemon. I think it's back-to-back for almost everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. Like if you're just talking the value of the position and the player and the opportunity, I like Price. I think Price could be a good running back. He was my RB2 leading up through the process. I talked about him so much. The funny thing is, if anybody goes back and pulls receipts, I was pumping him up all season. I'm like, this dude is awesome. Wait till he gets some opportunity in the NFL. the spot should be good because there's no way Charbonnet's ready to play. You roll with it. I mean, you got first round capital.
Yep.
Pretty solid running back.
And given the running back landscape and the lack of options, if that's just what you project him to be, I'm totally fine with that.
Just off of just football vibes, I'm thinking about the Seattle Seahawks running backs that we could think of late of the past, like Price, Chris Carson, Thomas Rawls, Rashad Penny. I mean, he's Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker. The thing is, the offense is good. Sam Darnold and JSN and Barner and Arroyo and Shaheed and Kupp, like it's a good offense. So he's probably going to have runway to run. So I wouldn't overthink it either. I like Price a lot. Good fit, good pick, good player.
Yeah, and he's being slotted in a range in Dynasty where it's kind of like, oh man, he's not going to ever be elite. But he's like RB22. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to be. If he's just an occupier of space for a couple years where he gets touches, gets touchdowns, that's fine. In this class, I think it's a clear 105. We did skip Omar Cooper. It wasn't on purpose, but he went picked 30, couple picks before Jadarian Price. I'm pretty bearish on Omar Cooper, Ray, with this landing spot. I don't know about you, but everything we talk positively about Kenyon Sadiq being on the field because they play a lot of 12 personnel and blah, 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 it feels like the loser of that in terms of just having it's a slow burn, but it's also a slow burn on the Jets. I don't know. This is the tough one. I've had to pick Omar Cooper a couple times, but it's been like I'm at 112 and it's a first-round receiver, so I'm just picking him. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm not super confident in an early role for Omar Cooper, and he doesn't feel like the type of receiver that is bulletproof if it doesn't come out firing. They just don't have a lot there.
It's Cooper, it's Adnan Mitchell, it's Isaiah Williams, it's Arian Smith. There's just not a lot there. And you could say what you want. You look at the last 4 years of Geno Smith, he averages like 3,600 passing yards. This is an offense.
Put those Jets projections up. You had them earlier. You said we'll get to Cooper. Throw those up there.
All right.
I'm curious where you had him compared to A.D. Mitchell. Because I think A.D. Mitchell's decent. He was good when he went to the Jets last year. I think he's got a good role.
It's much lower than A.D. A.D.'s right around 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cooper, 530 and 3 touchdowns. Here's how I read the projections. Cooper, 530. Mitchell, 320. Garrett Wilson, damn near 1,100. You know what I like? The reality is,
and you had 2 tight ends, I think, like 4 or 500,
and 2 tight ends
right?
over 350 yards apiece, and Breece Hall with 60 catches for 420 yards. Like that, there is reason to be bearish on everybody outside of Breece, Garrett Wilson, probably the tight end room. I think whether it's Adnan Mitchell, Omar Cooper, expectations need to be adjusted. Period. But it's not. If you're buying Cooper, I wouldn't be buying him for him to ball out for you here in 2026. That's not the way I would play Omar Cooper. That's not the way I would play Coop.
Yeah, I mean, he falls right in that tier. Yeah, you got him at 110. I got him at 111. I think he's right in. He's starting that run of like picks I don't have to make. You know what I mean? I can pass. I can worry about it later if I don't get him.
Here it is right here. There it is right there. There's the Jets. Okay. Geno a little under, I think, his 4-year average, 35, 22 touchdowns, which isn't crazy, 13 damn picks. But yeah, there it is. Cooper, 530.
That ain't bad for Geno Smith. That you know what that tells me? It tells me Geno Smith's probably a little if he's going to give you 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns.
Dude,
I mean,
do people know that Geno Smith threw for 3,000 last year and it doesn't even feel like he played?
Yeah. And he was good.
Go look at his go.
The 2 years prior for the Seahawks, he was good.
I'm almost positive, Scott, because I've been putting a lot of work in this. Over the last 4 years, he's had 2 4,000-yard passing seasons as well. You think Geno gives a damn about being careful? At this point, it's chuck and throw. That's all he's doing. I'm dropping back and chucking the ball downfield at his age because it's probably the last couple of hurrahs for Geno Smith. And he ain't coming off the field. They're not pulling him for Brady Cook. They're not pulling him for Cade Klubnik. He should start all the games till the end, until shit gets out of hand.
All right, we're done with the first round. Second round, there were not many players picked. So let's just hit some of these one by one. We
All right,
already
let me pull
talked
it
about
up.
Eli Stowers.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Stowers, pick 54. We already kind of spoke about him. I do kind of agree with you. You said it earlier, like this thought that he replaces Dallas Goedert next year and he just gets the Goedert role that he's gotten the last 5 years or whatever. I get the logic, but I think people really want that to happen. I'm not sure if I 100% buy in that's going to be their exact plan. Just like Makai Lemon isn't brought in to just replace A.J. Brown in 1 year. You wonder if this is maybe a little bit of a shift of how the Eagles are going to build their offense. What's to stop the Eagles from taking their Kenyon Sadiq next year? Maybe not him, but another tight end. You know what I mean? Because they've clearly built the receiver room differently, knowing that they can't replicate A.J. Brown with one guy. I wonder if they're maybe viewing this pick as it's an offensive weapon. We're not sure exactly how he's going to fit in, but it's not wait till Dallas Goedert leaves and he's just going to be Dallas Goedert because he's not the same profile as Dallas Goedert.
No.
I don't know. No, I think it's a little – I get the hopium. I understand in this class, especially in a certain premium, that you're going to pick him here because he's probably the clear tight end too. But it does feel like we're pushing him into a – I mean, I saw him go at the 104 today, Ray. In a point per carry, he went at the 104. 105, Carnell Tate. Guess who had the 106? Your boy, me. Jadarian Price sitting
Price
there.
is right there.
For 27 first.
How good did it fit? You traded him for a 27 first right then?
For a 27 first, but it's because it's a 0.2 point per carry. And you know what? I never thought I'm getting Jadarian Price in a point per carry at 106. But you know why? Because a team needed that tight end at the 104. So people are doing that. People are taking Sadiq and Stowers. Like
you know what this feels like? You know what this feels like? Remember last year how high that Arroyo was going, and what did he do? We continue to not learn from past mistakes. And that doesn't mean somebody's not going to come through the fray and be better than expected. But the expectation, I see people in the chat, he'll just turn to receiver. How many years are we going to keep doing that shit? Just make the tight end a receiver. Make the receiver a tight end. How often does that work out?
Yeah. Oh, let me ask you this. Can he grow into replacing Dallas Goedert?
Sure.
Or is he just a...
Sure.
Okay. That's the story people are telling themselves.
And how long did it take Dallas Goedert to grow into that when he was behind Zach Ertz?
I mean, isn't that the narrative for any tight end that's in a situation where it's not clear? You're hoping that it develops into that role. A lot of times you don't see that role till year 3, year 4, year 5. So yeah, I'm just saying where I'm seeing Stowers go. There's a lot of other tight ends I'm interested in later in this draft, and in that pick, that's probably a pick that's still kind of in the premium range that I think you can probably trade. So that's how I'm handling it.
Yeah.
Dejon Stribling, Ray. Shocker. Top of the board. 33rd pick to San Fran.
I got nothing. I'm good. I don't give a damn where he got drafted. I'm good.
See, that's the hard thing. Forget the name, but you look at the actual profile and it's not very good. But then he went to the great spot and got the capital. So, I mean, you got to slide him in somewhere.
You know who else got capital and went to a great spot? Jalen Hurd, great spots. Jalen Hurd, Jacob Cowing, Joe Williams, Tyrion Davis-Price, Jordan James. Who else? Name every skill position player the Niners have drafted outside of George Kittle. No, thank you. Like, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Danny Gray? Didn't they take him in the 4th?
Huh?
Danny Gray?
I'm good. They have historically been awful at the draft. Data, not even my opinion, data. Awful.
Yeah.
And this was an awful pick. It was an awful pick. And here's the thing. People keep telling me, you know what they tell me, Scott? He could be their next Juwan Jennings, okay? I'm almost certain Juwan Jennings was a 7th round pick. And I'm almost certain Juwan Jennings didn't have over 418 yards until year 4 of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what I'm waiting for, you can have it. Have fun.
Yeah, I don't see how you can connect those dots and make that argument, though, because when a guy like Jawan Jennings does what he does in the 4th year of his career, like, that's almost by accident. You know what I mean? They didn't plan on that when they drafted him, but it just happens. So to say now they drafted a guy that's going to do that and it's going to happen quicker, I'm with you. You know what I'm laughing at, right? I just looked at Brandon's rankings. Remember on the draft stream, he had him at 108.
Yeah.
He slowly crept him down to the 203 once he's kind of seen that, like,
Yeah.
he's absolutely insane to put him
Yeah.
above the
Yeah.
players he was putting him above. I laugh because he was the one that was pulling him way up in our consensus, that he's even moved him down like a half.
You know what the worst thing about Stribling is, man? That he has no ADV. He's got negative ADV.
True.
So unless he is good, I promise you put him on the block or on the market in your league, and nobody's going to come knocking at your door. There's no ADV there. None. You're trying to sell somebody who was the first pick of the 2nd round, and most people are going to be like, he shouldn't have been, and I don't want him.
Yeah. I mean, and someone's going to take him in the 2nd, just the same as they took Jalen Polk in the 2nd. Remember that one? He went like pick 37, and it's like, man, we didn't expect him to go this high, but he did. I got to respect it. And then you burned that 208 or whatever. I mean, even if you can't do much else with the 208, I'm okay passing on him. So that's Deshaun Stribling. We didn't have many other 2nd-round players. We got Denzel Boston. We already talked about him.
Nate Borcher.
Marlon
Klein. Let's go through this. The tight ends. Nate.
The 3 tight ends.
Yep.
I got some tight end data. There's a lot of, I think, conjecture out there about, oh, man, you know how many times this weekend I heard, man, that guy could be that offense's A.J. Barner. It's like everyone's just settling for the 3-down tight end that'll be on the field and they'll get those 40 catches. You know what I mean? 50 catches. I mean, I've heard that 8 guys compared to this year's A.J. Barner, and that's viable, but you can't have just 8 guys that are all going to be A.J. Barner. You have to be able to, tier them, one way or another. So let's just Borcher. He's almost 25 years old.
Yes, I do.
And the Jags somehow thought he was the best tight end in the draft or one of them, but I don't know, man. I'm looking at his other than draft capital, no production. Not really all that athletic either. I mean, 2nd lowest speed score.
Can I make this easy for this round? No to all 3 of the tight ends.
No. Okay.
Again.
You can't squint. I can squint and make a little argument for Marlon Klein or Max Clare.
I bet you people can't even tell you what A.J. Barner was doing his rookie year. These are players you can just
our mistakes. Get. No one wanted A.J. Barner, right?
Nobody wanted him. What? Just tell me the point of holding Max Clare when they have 4 already. What's the point?
I'm not even as bullish on Max Clare because he goes higher. People liked Max Clare pre-draft. He went to the Rams. He went in the 2nd round. He goes higher. Marlon Klein is a guy you can pick up for free or in the 4th.
Why would I even?
I'm giving the people. I want to give some thoughts on tight end. Otherwise, we're going to skip.
We will. And there's a UDFA tight end that I would take over all 3 of these guys. There was an undrafted free agent tight end that if you want to squint, I would take over all 3 of these 2nd-round tight ends.
Here's going to be how we're going to handle tight end going forward. I'm going to give you a reason if I'm interested in certain premiums and picking the guys up. And that's the only analysis, okay? We're not going to deep dive on Joe Royer and Jaron Kanik and Carson Ryan. So, okay. Jeremy Bernard, pick 47 to the Steelers. That's the last 2nd-round pick. How you feeling about this landing spot? Good, bad? 1 to 10, how would you rate it? I'm about a 3.
I was going to say 4.
Okay.
4. There's just nothing there for him. Even if Rodgers is back, it's Pittman, it's Metcalf, it's the tight ends. I bet you I run the Sims. He's probably projected for around 300 yards. 390.
Here's the positive outlook if I'm going to try to find one. this would have been a disaster pick last year because the Steelers obviously didn't have Michael Pittman. But if they had Michael Pittman, like in an Arthur Smith offense, this wouldn't be the guy that I would want at all. You know what I mean? But if you look at the Dallas Mike McCarthy teams, like if you just look at their usage, I mean, they played 11 personnel more than anybody. So if there is a role, this isn't a terrible spot for it. Now, is Aaron Rodgers going to support a tight end and 3 receivers? Probably not. Not at his age.
No.
Not with 3 decent running backs on their team too. But the spot could have been worse in terms of just how he's probably going to be used. You know what I mean? So I can get on board with that, but
let me ask you this.
Again,
let me flip the script with the tight ends on you right now. All the second round tight ends, Gunnar Helm or the second round tight ends?
Oh, Gunnar Helm.
Gunnar Helm over any tight end not named Cooper or Stowers. I meant Sadiq or Stowers.
I'm fine with Gunnar Helm, yeah.
Me too.
I mean,
so
when you tell me, someone said I'm looking for the next Gunnar Helm with any tight end not named Sadiq or Stowers, yeah, fine. Sure.
Find one that's not projected to be the tight end 5 in their offense. That's how you find the next Helm. There's got to be some opportunity. Like, honest,
there's
don't
a few.
make football complicated. Don't, like, where's the path for Max Clare? He's just going to come in and nuke Terrence Ferguson, Colby Parkinson, Davis, Allen, and Tyler Higbee? Just, you're going to play over those guys right away. When damn Terrence Ferguson couldn't get on the field to start the season. Elijah Arroyo couldn't get on the field to start the season.
Yeah. All right, we're going into round 3. A lot of non-onesie positions in round 3, so a lot of receivers. Let's talk about the quarterbacks first. We debated these on the draft stream. Carson Beck picked 65 to the Cardinals. Listen, he's the highest of the tiers. I have him probably higher than everybody else, but it's a simple narrative. He's drafted you couldn't have gotten a better spot to get a shot to play some games this year. That's the only narrative. Is he the future starter? No. Is he the next Tyler Shuck? No. Is he the next even Davis Mills that got a full season after he was a 3rd-round pick? Probably not. But in the range he's going, Ray, I'll pick him. And if at worst you get a guy that gets 6 starts and then he gets pushed and relegated to backup status next year, I'll live with it.
I just drafted him in our league.
There you go.
At the 2-0, where did I take him at? At the
203, I think.
202.
Yeah.
I just took him in that league. Traded a quarterback and drafted him and picked up a late second.
There you go. That's it. I don't think you need to analyze it much more.
Nope.
I'm not even saying he's going to be good, but
let's keep it rolling. We need to speed this shit up.
He's got Mike LaFleur. He's got Marvin Harrison.
I like
he's got
it.
Michael Wilson. He's got Trey McBride. He's got Jeremiyah Love. Like, get in there
like
and just don't fuck it up. That's his job.
Can he not do what Spencer Rattler did and give you some starts and some opportunity?
Yep. Agree. Drew Aller. How about that opportunity? Pick 76 to the Steelers. Is there any opportunity on the horizon? Yeah. Is this just a pure big name went to a place that is unsettled at quarterback and people
on
just
the horizon? No.
Narrative?
At some point, sure. On the horizon, no. He's not playing over Mason Rudolph. He's not playing over Will Howard. He's not playing over Aaron Rodgers.
But let's just talk real quick about the narrative that he's going to get an opportunity. How often do we see these? He's going to get it at some point, and it just never happens. They change OCs. They bring in a new coach.
I'm still waiting on that Jalen Milroe package that everyone told me was going to happen last year.
It feels a little Milroe-ish, doesn't it? Like we're projecting him to be the straight next guy up if there's an injury or there's a reason to play the backup, and then it's Drew Lock. Then it's Mason Rudolph. So I'm good not having Drew Aller because this feels like a guy in week 5. I can go send somebody a running back that's getting a little work, and I can get your Drew Aller off your bench if I really wanted to make that bet. So I don't have to make it really at all in a rookie draft.
Yeah.
Kalen Black. You confident on that San Fran Kalen Black round 3 pick? No?
No.
Is he an RB on a 53?
Yes. Barely. But not really. Yes, barely, but not really. That's my answer. Sure.
Their history of taking RBs in round 3 or 4
atrocious.
Is so bad. Like they've missed on like 5 straight. The best ones are Jordan Mason, UDFA, Elijah Mitchell,
7th
rounder.
7th rounder. Yep.
Is like it, or 6th rounder. It's like the best ones are the ones that they fell in their lap. You know what I mean? And this felt like, I mean, dude, they took Kalen Black 18 picks before the next RB. They could have had anyone in the draft, and they took him. So I'm good. Any tight ends do anything for you? Sam Rouse, 69 to the Bears. Oscar Delp, 73 to the Saints. Will Kazmarek, 87 to the Dolphins. And Eli Raritan, 95 to the Patriots. This is the rate. People love some of these tight ends, Ray. People love Oscar Delp, and they really like that Eli Raritan. Any comments?
The cleaners are vacuuming right next to the door, so I don't know if you can hear that loud-ass noise. No to Sam Roush. No to Rendarian. Who else?
We got Oscar Delp, 73.
Yes.
That's why. Ray hates every tight end in this class, but Oscar Delp. Let's hear it.
Juwan Johnson is awesome, but he's like 31, 32.
Mm-hmm.
And what else is behind him? And if you like Kellen Moore and you believe in how Dallas went about developing their tight end room, which I'm very familiar with that, and if you followed the content, then you hit on every damn tight end from Dallas that I told you about. Remember when it was Dalton Schultz versus the other guy? And I was like, it's Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz was the guy. Ferguson coming up next. I think he's got a plan. Delp in New Orleans, I really like the opportunity there. With a young quarterback, Kellen Moore, I am in on Delp over all of these guys. And he's got ADV.
Yeah, the Delp athletic profile is one of the best in the class. The only downside is no production. So there's a production threshold.
The Georgia tight ends outside of Bowers never have production.
I'm just saying, I have to rerun these numbers for this year, but anything below like the 15th percentile of production historically, there's just no good tight ends from there. You hope they're on the field. You hope they have a role, but people are drafting Oscar Delp. I just saw him go in a 2 tight end league. He went at 111 today.
People like him.
People like him. Yes.
ADV.
Sure. All right. Few receivers in here we got to hit on. Antonio Williams, Washington, 71. That he seems like he stands out amongst all of these other guys that went between 71 and 94. We had 9 receivers: Antonio Williams, Malachi Fields to the Jets, Caleb Douglas to the Dolphins, Zach Branch to the Falcons, Jacoby Lane to the Ravens, Chris Brazel to the Panthers, Ted Hurst to the Bucks, Xavier Thomas to the Bears, and Chris Bell to the Dolphins. Bell and Williams are the 2 bells of the ball, no pun intended here. Any thoughts? Jay Rich loved that Chris Bell. Loved him.
Agreed. Yeah, Juwan will be 30, not 31. Yeah, I like Williams. I like Williams better, the most in the group. No thanks on Fields. I like Chris Bell a lot, and if Chris Bell hadn't ripped his knee to shreds in November, then I'd be very much in on him because Miami has done nothing. Did nothing this draft or free agency to help out Malik Willis, but he's a 0, man. Like, he's a 0. I talk about not wanting NFL players coming off of an ACL tear in year 1. Why the hell would I want a rookie in an awful room, tore his ACL late, probably not going to be 100%. Like, I just don't have to I don't have to use. I honestly would use that 112 that Jay Rich would use to draft Chris Bell to do anything other with. And then if Chris Bell gets through the fray and he works his way back on the field and next summer he's in training camp and doing well, what's he going to cost me? What's he going to cost me at that point? Nothing.
Yeah.
Xavier Thomas, no. The tight end behind Dallas behind Colson Loveland, no. Zach Branch, he's got if he catches it and runs around fast in Atlanta with some ADV, people will like him.
Yep.
Jacoby Lane, we'll see. Des Bryant loves him. Caleb Douglas, no thank you. Malachi Fields, no thank you.
The 2 that we have in the middle of the third, we have Ted Hurst and Chris Brazel. I'm a little intrigued at Ted Hurst.
Wolf.
I think there's some ADV with Ted Hurst, and I think there's some ADV with Chris Brazel. I don't like Chris Brazel's situation. I don't like his offense. So that's the problem. Is that
A deep
it doesn't
ball
matter how good
merchant,
he
a
is.
deep ball merchant catching passes from Bryce Young. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
The Ted Hurst one is the one that I'm most intrigued with because it's Tampa Bay. If they can get anything close to back to even a little better than last year, like that's the one that stands out to me. But these receivers are mostly roster cloggers.
Is
So
Ted
we can
Hurst
move
better
on.
than Tez Johnson? I think the answer to that is no.
Probably not. Probably not.
I'm good. Georgia State receiver to Tampa Bay in the middle of the third. We'll see.
All right, round 4. There's a big one here. People want to hear about this guy, Cade Klubnik. You said earlier he ain't replacing Geno Smith. What's the odds? Does he get some starts?
If Geno gets hurt, probably. If the season is completely off of the rails by the end and Geno gets that phantom shutdown because they're going in a different direction, why not throw him out there?
Yep. Just got him in
but him beating out Geno, no.
No. But here's the thing. I just got him today at I believe it was a 401. And that's just you don't analyze a 4th-round quarterback as is he going to start. You analyze him. If you're going to pick him, you're picking him for a very specific reason. And it's probably, does he have a path to ever get any opportunity? And worst case scenario, he's just a backup quarterback that has some weapons in the offense that you could use. So don't overthink that one. Jonah Coleman versus Mike Washington. I guess we can throw in Emmett Johnson, Nick Singleton in that conversation too, since they're in the next round. But Jonah Coleman's clearly the RB3. What am I missing, Ray? Is he the Dobbins replacement down the road? And if you're selling me on it's a down the road replacement, I don't know. I've seen Jonah Coleman go at the 202, 201. And yeah, that's a lack of I don't know what else to pick. But again, we're back to if I could probably do something different with that pick. You know what I mean?
If Denver tomorrow cuts J.K. Dobbins, then yeah, I'll be all in. Outside of that, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah. I'll gladly trade you Jonah Coleman. Gladly.
Well, and people notice in my tiers, I did move Jonah Coleman, Nick Singleton, Mike Washington, Emmett Johnson, Katron. I moved them up because you do have to draft running backs that got some capital and are on teams. It's just that you're not expecting like the backfield to break Jonah Coleman's way. You're just wanting to get some opportunity. And it's more likely that if he gets some, you can use that on a team than whether you can use Zach Branch or Chris Brazel or Jacoby Lane.
Yes. What if he's gone one round ahead to San Francisco? Then I think he might have been.
If any of those 5 I just named goes where Kalen Black went, we're putting him in the first round.
Easy.
112, 201. And nobody's questioning it because it's the CMC handcuff. And man, if he gets hurt, this guy's going to eat. I mean, yeah, it's a clear path where there's some preconceived notions as what running backs should be there and how we treat them for sure. Mike Washington. Good spot, intriguing backup, but honestly, what is the difference between Mike Washington and Seth McGowan?
Mike's big.
They're
and
behind
fast.
Jonathan Taylor and Ashton Genty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they can seize that role, then they're a good guy to have. But I don't see much opportunity.
Yeah.
You buy into the narrative. This is Kubiak. He's going to use multiple backs. Going to pull Genty off the field 40% of the time for Mike Washington.
No, I'm not. But I do think that if he can he needs to just carve out his role, whatever that is. It's not going to be the pass catching role. That's Ashton Genty. It's not going to be the hammer. He fumbles the ball a ton. Who else do they have in their roster? Who's the projected RB2 right now in Las Vegas?
It's probably Mike Washington.
Isn't Mike? Do they not have anybody else signed on the roster?
They had Zamir White, and I believe they still have Dylan Lobby hanging around. I think. But no, they don't. Remember, they were working out Najee Harris. Like, I think they do need to fill this role. It'll
They'll
be
bring
interesting
some.
if they
Yeah,
filled it with Mike Washington, or they bring in another. I would like to
Yeah.
see them actually sign a guy like Najee, and then have Mike Washington be able to hang with Najee. You know what I mean? Even coming off an Achilles, like that kind of feels like the move they're going to make. I don't know if you just trust this guy to be your starter
no,
if
no,
Genty were to get
no,
injured. So,
no.
all right,
Mike Washington will get 6 touches a game. I don't know about that either.
mm.
I mean, and I know Scribbles is just throwing numbers out there, but I mean, what's that? 6 times 17, 102 for Mike. If you told me Mike Washington is getting 102 opportunities in year 1, okay.
I would take that.
Hell yeah, I would.
That means he's got an everyday role. The point you're drafting him for is if there's ever a game or two you could start him, then he's good enough where they'll trust him for a short window.
They signed Roman Hemby. Jason said they signed Roman Hemby as a UDFA, and he played at Indiana with Mendoza.
Okay. That's good to know. I haven't even tracked a lot of the UDFA pickups because that feels like one that
I need to put Roman Hemby in our tiers. I need to put Roman Hemby in there. And I need to put Trigg in there.
All right, so let's see. 4th rounders, Matthew Hibner. Any interest there?
No.
Any interest in the other Ravens tight end, Josh Cuevas?
No.
It's the Ravens, right? They take tight ends like it's
Todd Monken's no longer. No.
Okay.
I'm not even trying to be no.
Okay.
You know who I would take over all of them? Spencer Hawes.
Yeah.
I would.
Sure. 4th round receivers. Well, Brennan Thompson to the Chargers, Elijah Surratt to the Ravens, Caden Wetjen to the Steelers. You see that Cajun Wetjen video? He's out golfing when they called him and said he got drafted.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Skylar Bell to the Bills, Bryce Lance to the Saints, and Colby Young to the Bengals. Even best ball here. Any of these guys you're taking a chance on? Surratt, maybe? Skylar Bell, maybe? Bryce Lance, maybe? Brennan Thompson, probably decent for best ball. I don't know.
Surratt's going to get a handful of hand to his chest immediately in the NFL. I don't think he's got the requisite get open ability to be anything in that offense, and Lamar's not progressing through 3 to come to him. It's Zay Flowers, it's the tight ends, it's Derrick Henry, it's Lamar Jackson. They've already shown us that everybody else is just ancillary. We'll see what this new offense looks like. I'll let Surratt and Bell and all those guys navigate through the fray. The answer is no. Like it's really no.
Is Surratt? No, I won't even say Surratt. I think that's a different.
I give me Jacoby Lane over Surratt.
Okay, I mean same team.
Bryce Lance. He's a developmental receiver.
He's also isn't he 24?
You know, like you just wish he went somewhere else. Brandon Thompson, better capital than people expected, but man, what are you doing? And what the damn tight end Gadsden, Lad McConkey, QJ, Trey Harrison. You want to sell me on Brandon Thompson? Now I'm looking at the 5th option. That doesn't include Omarion Hampton.
They got their AJ Barner too. Charlie Kohler's about to get about 35 catches too.
No.
Okay. Yeah, that ends round 4. Round 5, Cole Payton, currently the QB4 on the Eagles. Is that a quarterback on a 2 deep?
No.
You don't think he'll beat out Andy Dalton or Tanner McKee?
Definitely not Tanner McKee. And that's all that matters. Definitely not. No.
So, I've seen people pick. I've seen Cole Payton get drafted a couple times. That feels like a one where, I like backup quarterbacks, but that truly feels like that is I heard on a show today, they said Cole Payton might be the guy they start doing the tush push role instead of Jalen Hurts. I just laughed because they're already putting Cole Payton on the field. So people will pick him because there are people out there saying, like, he's a guy I'm intrigued by. I've learned from the past. Like, a lot of times you draft these quarterbacks thinking they're going to be backups, and then you get to week 1, and it's like, yeah, the team has them as quarterback 3. And then never will they put him on the field unless it's just a drastic misfiring of how the offense went that year. And then if you're not the backup as a rookie, like it doesn't next year, guess what? They could draft another Cole Payton. Another Cole Payton.
Let's see if he makes the team first. If he even makes the 53.
He better make the team as a damn 5th rounder.
As a 5th rounder?
A quarterback?
I hope so.
I don't know. Anyway, Emmett Johnson, Nick Singleton, Adam Randall. These are fun picks. They're just not as cheap as they were in the past. I'm warming up to that Emmett Johnson one a little bit more. If he can get past, we call him Giuseppe DiMercato, I like Emmett Johnson a little bit. I do.
Yeah, okay.
It's not because I think I like
sure.
him.
People like that Brashard Smith till he didn't touch the damn ball all season long.
Okay.
I just sure.
Nick Singleton, starter in 27.
That's the narrative.
Yep.
If you want to go down narrative street, that's the net, right? That's the tell yourself a story. He'll be 100% healthy. This dude was Penn State doesn't know what they're doing. I think he's going to return kicks and be explosive. He's big. He's fast. He's got ADV. Sure. I don't mind Emmett Johnson either. I think this round, I like it a little more than I like the last round. Sure. Okay. You know who I like more than any of them? Jaden Blue.
Preach.
I
like more than any of them? Taj Brooks.
Sure. Keep it going. Keep it going.
That type of running back that's been around that people have just forgotten because they didn't get any work last year, like they're the same thing.
LaQuint Allen or Nicholas Singleton and Emmett Johnson. Chris Rodriguez versus these guys. I'll take both of them.
That's a good one. Chris Rod. That's the one that nobody likes.
I'll take Chris. I will take Chris Rodriguez over every running back in this draft, not named Price or Jeremiyah Love.
Oh. Listen, when people tell you can't move these
picks.
Full
stop.
When people tell you can't move these picks, this range of picks where Denzel Boston, Jeremy Bernard, Antonio Williams, all these running backs are going, you can move these picks. You just have to also move the goalposts as to what you're getting back. If you're expecting B-level starters, you're probably not getting them. But to tell me I can't go get something that in the short term is going to give me much more production and a role, you absolutely can. But the thought of trading the pick that I'm about to draft Nick Singleton with for Chris Rodriguez, people just won't do that, right? The thought of doing that,
here goes. This is fun in the chat. Everybody not named Love or Price. Braylon Allen, Blake Corum, Devin Neal, Isaiah Davis are all names in the chat.
I mean, what about Blake Corum, do you question? He's had the exact role you'd want for any of these running backs.
You pray these guys get the Blake Corum role.
Right. And I don't know about Braylon Allen. That knee injury he had was really bad, but if he's back, I mean, he had part of that role wouldn't you love Mike Washington to have a Braylon Allen role? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that would be a home run. So,
yep.
Let's see. Any thoughts on Adam Randall? Different. I know you didn't really like him pre-draft, but he's different than what else they got.
Sure. Where did he go?
He went pick 174, end of the 5th to the Ravens.
I mean, that backup to Derrick Henry is just you're just hoping something happens, right? You know?
Yeah. Well, you don't really hope something happens because I'm not sure.
That's what you're hoping.
I don't know if the Ravens know what they would do if something happened because they're not giving everything to Adam Randall. It's not Justice Hill. It's not Rasheen Ali. The Ravens feel like the team that needs to be like the Najee team. You know what I mean? Yeah. If anything happened, he can play the role that Derrick Henry plays at 50% of it for a game. But I'll pick up Adam
the,
Randall.
The owner picked him. He's playing.
Yeah. Did you see that? They gave the owner one pick, and this is who he took.
Till he sees him in training camp, and then he's like, "Oh shit, we got to get somebody else on the field." I'm with Rasheen Ali. I'm with you. He's worlds better than Adam Randall. I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's go. Let go and let God 7. I'm with you. 100%.
I saw the tweet where day 3 they should give every owner a pick and let him come on TV and talk about how the analysis on that pick. Can you imagine getting some of these owners? Can you imagine getting Mike Brown on TV at 90 saying why he picked this guard? What he really liked about the film. That'd be entertaining. That'd make day 3 entertaining. I want to hear Biscotti.
That just lets you know that
Adam
these
Randall.
picks are just fucking throwaways, man. They are just lighting money on fire. And if it somehow magically turns into something else, then great.
All right. We're moving on. I want to talk about 2 tight ends in this range, okay? Justin Joly.
Denver.
I said if there's a 20% chance of finding a Herald fan in this class, it's Justin Joly. You agree with that? He's got everything, except he went in the 5th round.
I agree.
Really good production. Good athleticism. I mean, I said 20%. So don't clip that and say, I'm saying he's Harold Fannin. But if there's a Harold Fannin, the guy that went, if there's an Aronde Gadsden, I would say it's Justin Joly.
You wouldn't
He's
say
my
it's
tight end.
Riley.
It's either him or
Nowakowski?
Tanner Koziel or Justin Joly.
What about Riley Nowakowski?
He's a fullback.
Oh.
Sure, maybe.
Yeah, give me one. I'm giving you a bunch of maybes and sures. I like the spot. I like it. He's top 5 tight end in the class, no doubt about it.
Yep.
Maybe even higher.
I mean, Tanner Koziel was the other one.
I like Tanner
went to Jacksonville in round 5. They did take Borikacher earlier, but I mean, that was one of the ones that you can't really ask for a better offense. It's a good offense. They're going to use a tight end. Now they got Brenton Strange. But
how would you be feeling if you were Brenton Strange? Like didn't they give him didn't he get extended?
No.
Oh, he's
this
gone.
Is last year.
Cool.
He feels like it feels like Isaiah Likely. You know what I mean? Like they've made their bed and.
Yep. If I'm Strange, I'm pissed. What are y'all doing? 2nd round? You take a tight end?
Yeah, they drafted a whole tight end room around him, basically. I mean, Borikacher and Koziel are 2 totally different tight ends, and I
like Koziel. That's one where Trinity on him was good coming out. He was up there in a high cohort, so I like him.
Yep, best production in the class. Him.
That would be. Is he what 3rd round pick rookie drafts? 4th?
Sometimes he falls further because his capital.
I would want him.
Yeah, that's a guy. And once you get to like the late 2nd, mid 2nd, there is no ADP. Take the guys you want. Move them up.
Yeah, I will get him everywhere late.
Any other tight ends in this range? Max Bredesen, Riley Nowakowski. He's a fullback. Max Bredesen's a fullback. I think that's the role he'll primarily play.
No.
Joe Royer.
No.
Josh Cuevas. Sadu Traore. That guy's got an interesting story if you look it up.
I'm not gonna look it up.
Okay. You do your own Googling there. How about these round 5 receivers, man? Reggie Virgil.
No.
That's DP's guy, right?
Everyone's DP and D-Bros guy. Everybody. I love both of them, but they are everyone's guys.
Kendrick Law. It's my Kentucky boy. I like Kendrick Law, but no.
No.
Cyrus Allen. Kevin Coleman. You liked Kevin Coleman for like a week. I remember that.
He's fine. He's fine.
The Dolphins. They got nothing else.
Sure.
But then what? Given that they have a completely unsettled receiver room, if you had to pick a guy like in the 4th, would you lean Kevin Coleman over a lot of the other guys we talked about simply because of the depth chart?
Probably not. I mean,
Kevin Coleman or Caleb Douglas?
Tutu Atwell.
Nick Westbrook Akeen's on the Colts. Jalen Tolbert.
Is Theo Weiss there?
Yep.
I'm not even BSing you. If somebody wanted one of them guys and they were just like, it's going to cost, like, I'll give you Theo Weiss, I would just take Theo Weiss back.
Okay.
I'm not even joking, man. Like these, at this point, the likelihood that any of these guys make it through the fray in what is not a great environment is so razor thin, and it's just not worth it. What can I move this for? What body can I get back? Can I get Tez Johnson for any of this shit? I mean, any Blue Johnson, give me Caleb Johnson. Anything opposed to, this is not the class you want to try to thread the needle on your conviction on waiver wire, guys.
Fair.
Not this year, man.
No. Round 6. Only had a few players go in round 6, skill player wise, outside of receivers. We had
plant my
Taylon
flag.
Green.
Who's that? Telling me to plant my flag on someone? No. I don't have to plant it. That's the thing. That's the thing. People think you have to plant a flag, and I'm not going to. You know when my flag was planted? Carnell Tate in January. That was my flag plant.
We still got Ray's sleeper coming up. We'll talk about him at the very end. The guy when you ask Ray, who's the one guy he will not leave any draft without?
Okay. Well,
coming up here in 10 minutes. We got Taylon Green going to the Browns.
No.
I heard a wide open depth chart. Why not? The odds Taylon Green gets a quarter as a starting quarterback for the Browns this year.
I'll say he'll get on the field somehow. Somehow he'll get on the field.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson
DTR.
Start.
Yeah, I said yeah. Yes, no, I don't want him, but
I'm
yeah,
drafting Taylon Green. I'm drafting him because, especially in these 2 PPR, 1-7, there's a world where he moves to tight end, but there's also a world he's a quarterback that, it's Joe Milton again. If he somehow got out there, you'd have to watch. Is that fair? If it's week 16 and the Browns are out of it and Taylon Green's the starter and it's 22 degrees and they're playing the Steelers in the dog pound and they're 10-point home favorites, but Taylon Green's getting the start, out of the corner of your eye, you'll be watching that game.
I know. He can run around too, so people will like it.
Yep. All right, these are good running backs. This is probably the last couple running backs that we're going to talk about in depth. Katron Allen and Damon Claiborne. I don't see the difference, honestly, between the other guys we talked about. I think the Katron Allen landing spot, he doesn't have a role right away. But, Ray, the last 2 years, they've given a lot of work to JCM and Chris Rodriguez, and they drafted him in the same spot as Katron Allen. We're going to get a guy in late day 3 that'll just eat the ball.
Big, slow bruiser. Perfect guy to replace Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah. There's a flag plant right there.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I need to move him up.
See where you got him.
I need to move him up.
I have him right below Emmett Johnson, Mike Watt. He's right in that range with the other. I don't give a shit where he got drafted. He's right in that range with those other RBs, because what's the difference?
He's a Dan Quinn kind of guy. Tough, hard-nosed football player. It's JCM and Rashad White. He feels like Chris Rodriguez. Chris Rod coming out of Kentucky feels like he played the same way as Katron played coming out of Penn State.
Yeah.
And I love Claiborne. I love the spot for Claiborne.
Talk about that one.
Dude, this RB room stinks. They've invested heavily on the offensive front. They did nothing to improve the running back room. Jordan Mason ain't it. Aaron Jones can barely stay on the field. Claiborne is, my comp for him was Keaton Mitchell. He's got that level of juice in a wide open offense. I like it. I like both of these running backs in round 6.
Yep. Yeah, you got to move them. You got to move them up. Honestly, there's only a few narratives after those other running backs that I'm even interested in trying to tell myself. So if you told me that aside from maybe Justin Jolie, Oscar Delp. If you just move Claiborne and Katron Allen up into the second round, what are you losing? You know,
I think they should. I mean, opportunity. I'm not going to go there yet, but Scribble's using my sure. Like, that's the new thing. Just sure. I mean, I think Katron should be a second round pick.
You talked about Barry and Brown being the
Shaheed guy
replacement.
Yeah, but not the pass catching part of it, just the return part.
Yeah, Josh Cameron, Malik Benson, C.J. Daniels, Emmanuel Henderson, C.J. Williams, Lewis Bond, Anthony
They'll be
Smith.
out of the league in 2 years.
I'm just reading the names.
Yeah. I'm just telling you.
No comments on any of those names. Is that fair?
I'm just telling you no.
Okay. Okay. This is the guy Ray's going to plant his flag on. We got 6th round tight end to the Buccaneers, Bauer Sharp.
Oh man, I liked Bauer Sharp coming in the season. I forgot what game it was. He caught a drag route, starts running, gets hit, fumbles the ball. LSU loses the game, and then it went downhill for him after that. Trey'Dez Green took over, and that's going to be a 1st round tight end next year. Who's behind Cade Otton?
Oh, they still have all the same guys they had before. They have
Payne Durham,
Culp, and Payne Durham.
I would spend a 4.9 on Bauer Sharp.
I thought you were about to say a 1st. I was like, okay.
No, I'd spend a 4.9 on Sharp. I would, if he were on waivers, I'd put a waiver claim in on him after the rookie draft. I'd put a buck on him.
He will be on waivers.
Yeah, I'll put a buck on him. Yeah,
he will definitely be on waivers.
Yeah, and Jason said it. Trey Green snatched that drop. Like, after he dropped that ball, it went downhill, and then they was like, all right, we got to get him up out of here. But I mean, yeah.
I'll say I like Jack Endries. I know he went to my Bengals, but
of course you do.
Well, now that he's gonna get a chance to be on the field. They got 5 tight ends.
I like Endries too. I didn't say I didn't like. I like Endries.
None of them are good. So he's got to beat out Tanner Hudson and Eric All. That's his competition.
Well, isn't that your boy, Eric All?
I like Eric All, but I mean, if you told me Eric All is with 2 ACLs and he missed the whole damn last year isn't ready to go, then there's not a lot you could do with Eric All. He just cut him.
Where's he at there? Where is he at? What
Jack
round?
Endries went pick 221, 7th.
Oh, we're in the 7th. I'm still in the 6th. My bad.
We're in the 7th. Yeah, we're done with the 6th. We got Jack Endries.
Yeah, I like Endries in the 7th. Yes, I like Endries a lot.
Carson Ryan went to the Browns.
No.
Dallin Bentley. That's when I saw somebody saying, oh, he's the arbitrage play to Justin Jolie. But go look up Dallin Bentley's profile. Probably not a
hard pass.
Yeah. And then Eli Heidenreich, Seth McGowan, Jam Miller. I like all 3.
You don't like all 3. You do not.
I like Seth McGowan. I love Seth McGowan. I like Eli Heidenreich. Jam Miller, I mean, that's the stretch of the 3. But people like it. There's ADV on Eli Heidenreich, Ray.
There's people all like that there. Dude. Let me tell y'all the biggest fade edge in Dynasty. We got to stop this. We have got to. These white running backs we got to stop it, man. We keep doing this the next Danny Woodhead, the next
He's
Rex
a mix
Burkhead.
Of Danny Woodhead and Austin
Rex
Eckler.
Burkhead.
That's what I'm hearing.
Danny Woodhead. Yeah. If your last name ain't got head in it, it's not going to happen.
It's got Hyde.
It ain't got head though. You need head. We got to stop every white running back from Cody Schrader, Dylan Lobby, you name them. We keep trying to wish cast this thing into existence. Great
Max
story.
Borghi.
Great story. No. Do you think in any world Mike McCarthy is going to stick this dude on the field on 3rd down for Aaron Rodgers? I'm still waiting on Chisholm out of New England. We got to no. You don't like him. You're trying to tell yourself a story, but you don't like him, and you know it's not going to work out. You know it.
Yeah. That's the theme. No head.
No head. Don't draft.
All right. Last group. What a trio we have here. Right? Can we get your thoughts on Baron Morton?
Oh, yeah. Hold on real quick. Jason's
here.
Hold on. Will Shipley. I forgot about him. Your boy from Clemson. Will Shipley, another one. Right? The only one that came through the fray was CTE Scattaboo. And he's a different breed. I mean, he's a different level of running back, right? He's not the undersized last round. I'm hoping he can be a pass catcher. We just got to stop it. So go ahead.
No, we have 3 players left. We got Ethan Kaliakmanis to Washington. We got Baron Morton to the Patriots. That's Chris Sims, his QB2 in the class. And then Garrett Nussmeier to the Chiefs. I know people want to hear about Garrett Nussmeier. Pick 249. Damn near last player drafted. 8 away from being undrafted. But you're high on Garrett Nussmeier.
I heard a rumor from a scout that he was dreadful in his interviews at like the Senior Bowl. Entitled, arrogant, cocky, just bad vibes all the way around. Injured, not that big. Goes to a spot where there's zero path to playing time unless Mahomes gets hurt, which every Hall of Fame quarterback has to go through some debilitating injury, and Mahomes just got his out of the way. So I'm not banking on him to get hurt for another 8 years. If something were to happen, I bet you Garrett Nussmeier ain't starting. It's Justin Fields, then somebody else, then Garrett Nussmeier. They'll start Oladukin again over Garrett Nussmeier. This is the biggest whiff from me and the community pretty much coming in the season, from the number 1 overall pick to damn near the number 258 pick. No. Outside of hopium levels of ADV, you are just wasting a roster spot on Garrett Nussmeier.
So you had said on the draft stream, though, he's worth picking.
Sure.
What is it? Just I have him, and
I'm picking him up off of waivers if he's there.
Okay.
That's
so
what,
it's not. I'm not even using a draft pick on him. If he's available
if
for
you
free, that's where I'll get him.
Here's the path to Nussmeier being valuable. I'm going to tell you with 100% you know who ain't playing in the preseason? Patrick Mahomes. He will not take one snap in the preseason. Yep. I think you said on the stream, Ray, I don't even know how much Justin Fields. What do they really need to see from him?
Whatever they're gonna use Justin Fields for, that's probably what they're going to practice in the preseason. But it's not going to be, let's get him a bunch of work because we're developing
throw the football.
He's already developed. He was signed to probably do a certain thing. So it's probably going to be a lot of 3 quarters of Garrett Nussmeier. Throw into Jalen Royals.
And if he can look good doing that, can I flip him for anything? And I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the path to picking him.
Yeah. It's like when Joe Milton played in the preseason, remember?
100%.
Oh, man, this guy's there's always a few QBs that people latch onto that they like what they saw, and that could be a developmental starter in 3 years, and somebody in Dynasty will give you a 29-3rd for that.
Yes.
So.
You didn't talk about Anthony Smith, my Cowboys drafted.
I listed him, and you glossed right over him.
Oh.
I listed him in that big chunk of 12 receivers. And I think you just interrupted me and said no.
Yeah, no. He's not better than Flournoy or Brooks or whoever else they have. No. Jan Miller in New England. This is one where I'll just say, remember who was taking carries in New England this year that people were spending money on from Fab? Who was that running back?
Terrell Jennings.
He's worth a pick. He's worth a pick at the 412, the 503.
Yeah, I mean, he's an RB, and he's got a decent profile. That's that.
I'm just in the pathway in the world of playing. I've seen New England throw folks back there this past season. People were paying for Terrell Jennings.
Yeah, they definitely threw extra guys out there. I mean, when Antonio Gibson got injured, didn't they throw out Dearness Johnson a little bit too?
Yes. So, if you got the 508, I'd take a shot.
Tune in to the next show where Ray breaks down his 5th round.
Yeah.
What he's doing with his 5th.
Talk about Deion Burks. You said you like Deion Burks a little bit.
I mean, he was basically the last skill player picked. And I don't know. He's a 7th round receiver. I mean, I guess. He's the Josh Downs replacement when they don't sign him, right? That where we putting him?
Yeah. The answer is
Anyway.
no. Yeah.
A lot of that. Well, we're done. I think we went through every skill player. I think there were 77 skill players drafted this year, which is lower than the average. The average right around, I think the average is like 79. So only position that got more volume was tight end. Every other position was actually no receiver. There were 36 receivers drafted, I believe, and average is 31.
And San Francisco spent the 33rd overall one on Deshaun's dribbling.
Yeah, well, the majority of receivers were, yes, the number was higher, but there was a lot of shitty ones, a lot of 6th-rounders, a lot of 7th-rounders, that stuff. So just weak RBs, only 15 running backs drafted, which is well below the average. So that held true the entire time, right? This was a weak running back class, not just at the top, but teams didn't even view like the random 6th-round running back as like, I can find that guy. That's a UDFA in prior classes.
Where would you put Michael Trigg? UDFA, Dallas Cowboys tight end. Where do you put Trigg?
I mean, I'm not interested,
has a
but then
deep
I'd also
history of just diving in the dumpster for tight end and turning them into fantasy relevant play. Where did Dalton Schultz get drafted at? I don't even remember.
Schultz was a 5th-rounder.
I don't even know. I know Jake Ferguson.
He wasn't
was
like
a
a UDFA.
I know he was. Jake Ferg was a 4th. I don't know where Schultz went.
Schultz was a 4th.
Jarwin was a UDFA, I believe. I don't believe, or he was a 7th-round pick, Blake Jarwin. We'll see if Trigg's head is on straight. He is a very talented pass catcher in a great offense that utilizes the tight end, and nobody likes Jake Ferg. He's ADV built in.
Yeah, I mean,
you could him.
You could say not interested, but then you could also rank him like tight end 7 or 8 based off the narrative that you just put in there. So I agree. Diego Pavia, that's the last one. Picking him up for free?
No.
It's ADV. It's Diego Pavia.
Probably a cult member in every league that likes over him. Under career starts for Diego Pavia, 3.5 career.
How about over under game checks?
I think he is, because he wasn't as hyped up. He's everything that people want to make you believe Shedeur Sanders is as far as a distraction, and not half the football player of Sanders. No team is going to deal with him like that. Like, I'm good. I'm good on Pavia.
Okay. We're done. We only went for about 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours. Pretty efficient.
Oh, man. Final thoughts, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't hit every single player just because, honestly, this class isn't worth discussing more than probably 30 players individually. There was a lot of no thanks, a lot of, move on, don't pick anybody. But in the end, you still have picks to make.
Yep.
If you have 3rds, if you have 4ths, if you have 2nds, like, you got to figure out what you're going to do. So yeah. I think you have to go and adjust the goalposts, right? You just have to forget what that pick number says and go make a plan for what you want to do with it. Send out the trades that you would probably have deemed absolutely disgusting 6 months ago because you're trading a 2nd or a 3rd for this random player. But just go achieve your goal.
2 hours to do this.
I know, man.
Appreciate y'all.
But if you can achieve your goal with the picks, just go do it.
Yes.
There is no consensus, right? Nobody's going to shit on you for drafting the random player in the 3rd that we didn't even talk about, really.
No.
So we just got find solutions instead of, and I'm going to lead the charge. I'm done complaining about the 26 class. It's over.
Yep.
I'm not going to bitch that I can't get anything for my picks. I'm just going to go to each league in the draft and figure out what I want to do with them. That's it.
Find solutions. 100%.
That's all I got. And get in the community. A lot more coming in the next couple weeks.
Appreciate y'all being in. This was a long awaited Destination Chill episode. Scott and I, we're going through our draft content this week. There's a lot of stuff coming from the DDFFB crew this week. I've got to get all the projection engine stuff done. But I believe probably not this coming Sunday, Scott, but in a week when all the draft stuff kind of dies down, we'll get back rolling with our Destination Chills. We'll get the Trinity going. We've updated all that stuff on the website. So thank you for tapping in for 2 hours with us to go through this. Hit the thumbs up button, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, check out the content all across our sort of spaces. Wake Up, Ray GQ, but more importantly, join it. Like, I cannot stress to you all how, if you enjoy this content, and I know y'all enjoy listening to me, but if you enjoy Scott and Dynasty strategy, Dynasty theory, every angle of these players, roster manipulation moves, I highly encourage you to get in the Discord. Highly encourage you to get in there. This dude is giving away so much free game for $7. So much free game for the $50 a month that you get in the community. If you sign up for the GOAT tier Heisman, and this is for those 200 or something, 400 people on X, 200 some people on YouTube, if you sign up for that tier and get in there and engage, and at the end of the month, you're like, Ray, I effing hated that place, I will give you your money back. Straight up. If you're actively engaged and into it and say, I hate it here, I'll refund you because I'm not in the business of that. But at this point, now that everybody has gotten their content out of the way for views, for clicks, no one's going to tell you how to manipulate it and move around now. They're just going to shit on it. Don't do this, don't do that. Scott is giving back so much inside of that cord. Patreon.com/allgas or ddfantasyfootball.com. There's no better place, man. There's no better place. So we appreciate y'all being here. We'll be on a regular schedule soon. Enjoy your Monday. Find solutions to the problem. Don't just complain about it. And until next time, we'll catch y'all in the cord. We out. Peace. Y'all know what it is, man. We love y'all. DD for life. All gas all the time. Y'all have a good evening. Make this week great. We'll see y'all on the channel. We out. Peace.